Hey, before this video begins, I would like to say that you can email me at riseupproductions@gmail.com if you have any story submissions for me. Our goal is 100k subs by the end of the year, and if we can hit that, that would be awesome. I hope you enjoy the video. In March 2014, the city of Ibadan in Oyo State, Nigeria, became the focal point of a terrifying revelation that shocked the country. A squad of motorcycle taxi drivers known locally as Okada Riders launched a hunt for a missing colleague. Their quest led them to an abandoned building in the Soka Forest area, which became notoriously known as the Ibadan House of Horror. When the search crew entered the decaying structure, they were confronted with terrible horror. The decomposing remains of human bodies were strewn around the property, along with the countless human skulls and personal items of unknown people. 23 persons were discovered alive, but in appalling conditions, emaciated and suffering from severe torture. The survivors told horrifying stories of abduction and incarceration. Many claimed to have been kidnapped by people posing as officials from the Oyo State government's urban renewal plan. Imposters would attract victims with false promises of job or assistance, only to imprison them inside the Soka building. The immediate aftermath of the findings sparked a public outcry, with residents demanding justice and accountability. Riots erupted outside the building as neighbors voiced fury and despair at the terrible discovery. Authorities initiated an investigation into the site's role in human trafficking, and ritualists refers to people who perform human sacrifices and frequently thought to be supported by affluent and important characters seeking power or wealth through occult means. The scale and type of operation at the Soka facility raised suspicions of involvement by such individuals. Less than 2 weeks after the Soka discovery, a similar location was unearthed in Adijvi Abikuta, I apologize for mispronunciation, in adjacent Ogun State, indicating a larger network of such terrible crimes. In reaction to popular outcry and to repurpose the contaminated property, the Oyo State administration dismantled the buildings in the Soka forest. The area was redeveloped into the Oyo State Comprehensive Model School, a secondary school. However, the school's attendance remained low, as the unsettling recollections of the site's past discouraged many parents from sending their children there. The Ibadan House of Horror is a striking reminder of the depths of human depravity and the weakness that can be abused throughout society. It emphasizes the significance of vigilance, community engagement, and a tireless pursuit of justice in preventing such tragedies from occurring again. I want to add that many of the survivors that were found were in horrible state, catatonic, and unresponsive. Some died from injuries and malnourishment. Only one survivor, after recovering, was able to describe the story. He was selling herbs on the road. He sat down to rest after a long day. 2 men in black came in a nice car, grabbed him, and threw him in the vehicle. He fell asleep because he was put to sleep by some sort of substance, woke up, and he was chained to a wall for 4 months straight in pure darkness, bug bites all over him. We'll never know what happened. This case has been dug into the ground, hard to find, and isn't talked about. It's very important to bring these things up, and that's why when I discovered this story, I became so obsessed with it. I had to bring it up to you guys because this is something that needs to be talked about. There's something greater at work here. It's disturbing, tragic, sad, and I think this deserves more. Brazil became the center of a fascinating mystery in August 1966, which continues to confound investigators and pique the public's interest. The lead mask case includes the strange deaths of 2 individuals under circumstances that remain unknown to this day. On August 20th, 1966, a young man flying a kite on Vitamin Hill in Niterói, a Rio de Janeiro suburb, I don't pronounce things great, so excuse me, discovered a frightening image. He found the motionless bodies of 2 men laying side by side, half covered in grass. The authorities were notified, and upon arrival, they discovered some unusual details. Both males were dressed in formal suits with waterproof coats. Each wore a lead mask covering their eyes, which is generally used for radiation protection. Near the bodies, investigators discovered an empty water bottle, a packet containing 2 wet towels, and a little notebook. Inside the notebook was a handwritten note with enigmatic instructions. The victims were identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, both electronic workers from Campos dos Goytaqueses. I apologize so much. The victims were identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, a town some 105 kilometers from Niterói. According to their families, the men left home on August 17, 1966, claiming they needed to get materials for work. They boarded a bus to Niterói, arriving around 2:30 p.m. Evidence suggests they bought their waterproof clothing and a bottle of water when they arrived. A waitress who served them reported that Miguel appeared uneasy and repeatedly checked his watch. This was the final known glimpse of the men before they died. The investigation posed major problems. Due to a backlog at the coroner's office, autopsies were delayed. By the time they were performed, the bodies were too decomposed to pinpoint a cause of death or test for harmful substances. This lack of specific proof led to a variety of theories. 1. Scientific spiritualism. According to a friend, the men were part of a group that sought to communicate with extraterrestrials or ghosts. It's speculated they ingested psychedelic substances to promote such interaction. The lead masks were supposed to shield against the unexpected bright lights during the encounter. 2. Show encounter. Some hypotheses indicate the men were seeking in contact with or awaiting a visit from extraterrestrial entities, which led to their demise on the hill. And 3. Foul play. Another idea suggests that the men were compelled into taking fatal medications under false pretenses. Despite lengthy investigations, the exact circumstances behind the deaths of Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana remain unknown. The lead mask case remains one of Brazil's most perplexing unsolved mysteries, leaving more questions than solutions and continuing to captivate those captivated by the unexpected. In the early days of the internet, far before social media, Usenet was a popular discussion forum. It was here in 1996 that a strange occurrence emerged, one of the internet's oldest unresolved mysteries. On August 5th, 1996, hundreds of mysterious comments flooded Usenet discussions with the headline, "Markovian parallax denigrate." These messages appeared as meaningless sequences of words, similar to senseless poetry. One surviving communication was a hodgepodge of phrases like jitterbugging McKinley, A break, Newtonian inferring Ka update, Cohen air, collaborate, Uru, sports writing, Roku, invocate Tussle. The sheer volume of these communications drew readers' attention, sparking widespread conjecture regarding their purpose and origin. Several explanations have been proposed over the years to explain the significance of the messages. 1. Secret codes and espionage. Some speculate the signals were cryptographic communication utilized by espionage agencies or underground organizations similar to Cold War number stations. 2. Malfunctioning chatbot. The term Markovian refers to Markov chains, which were used to design early AI models and chatbots. Some have speculated that texts were the result of a failed automated text generation project. 3. Prank or early spam attempt. As spam was still a growing issue on Usenet, some speculate that the messages were an early form of online trolling, attempting to swap discussions with relevant content. 4. The Susan Lindor connection. According to the Daily Dot, one of the surviving texts was related to a former journalist named Susan Lindor, who was later suspected of working for Iraqi intelligence. Someone suggested that she was engaged in the postings, although she has denied this. Despite decades of research, no conclusive explanation has emerged. Were these words the result of an elaborate hoax, an early experiment in AI-generated language, or something more sinister? The truth is still hidden in the depths of internet history. Bizarre, isn't it? On June 22nd, 1983, 15-year-old Emanuela Orlandi, a Vatican City resident, disappeared after attending a flute lesson in Rome. She was last spotted talking to a man in a dark-colored BMW near a bus stop. Her abrupt disappearance sparked one of Italy's longest-running mysteries, spawning conspiracy theories, political intrigue, and suspicions of cover-ups at the highest echelon of authority. In the days after her disappearance, a series of anonymous phone calls alleged that Orlandi had been kidnapped as leverage against the Vatican. Some speculated that her kidnapping was connected to Mehmet Ali Agca, a Turkish national who attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II in 1981. The argument suggests that Orlandi was detained in exchange for Agca's release. However, no concrete evidence has yet appeared to back up this assertion. Another viewpoint focuses on organized crime. Investigators believe the Orlandi family was implicated in a financial scandal involving the Vatican Bank and the Bandi della Magliana, a Roman criminal group. Some believe Orlandi was brought in to put pressure on Vatican authorities to restore money that the church alleges. The issue resurfaced in 2005 after an Italian journalist received an anonymous tip that Orlandi's remains were buried in the tomb of Ivnico de Pedis, a high-ranking member of the Banda della Magliana. Authorities unearthed the tomb in 2012 but discovered no clear relation to Orlandi. One of the most contentious aspects of the case is the Vatican's lack of transparency. The Orlandi family has repeatedly demanded that Vatican officials reveal any information they know about Emanuela's disappearance. In 2019, bones were discovered in the Vatican's Teutonic cemetery, leading to conjecture that they belonged to Orlandi. Forensic examinations ruled out a match. Despite decades of speculation and repeated investigations, no solid answers have emerged. The Orlandi family continues to search for the truth, believing that someone within the Vatican holds the key to unlocking this riddle. Emanuela Orlandi's disappearance remains one of the most disturbing cold cases in modern history, in Roman history. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I don't want to plug too much. I just want to say, if you want to support this channel financially, you can send me a super donation or you can join our membership. The membership doesn't offer much right now, but I will take any suggestions below. We're also currently constructing a Discord server, so I'll keep you guys posted. If you want to stay posted, check out the community posts. I also heard that my channel entered a shadow ban of some sort, so if you could, please hit that bell icon and share this video as much as you can, because that would be greatly appreciated. The last thing I want to do is fall into the depths of YouTube. We have a goal of 100,000 by the end of the year, and we have to work hard to get that. That's why I'm doing weekly uploads while I'm in college. I'm a hardworking college student, and the last thing I want to do is have my YouTube channel fall flat. I love you so much. Thank you for the support. And if anything, just hit subscribe, like the video, comment, tell me what you want better, and email me in the description below if you want to submit a story. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing better than a good old video. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy. In March 1922, a horrible slaughter took place on a secluded farmland in Bavaria, Germany. The Hinterkaifeck murders are still one of the country's most horrific and baffling unsolved crimes. Andreas Gruber, 63, his wife Cecilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, their children Cecilia Jr. and Josef, and their new maid Maria Baumgartner lived in isolation on their farm. Andreas recounted weird incidents in the weeks preceding the killings, including tracks in the snow leading to the home but not leaving, unexplained noises in the attic, and the appearance of newspapers on their property that no one in the household recognized. The previous maid had departed, alleging that the house was haunted. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, the family was led to the barn one by one and bludgeoned to death with a mattock. The killer then entered the house and murdered Josef in his crib as well as the maid in her rooms. Even more unsettling, the killer stayed on the farm for several days, feeding the cattle and eating from the family's kitchen. The crime was discovered on April 4th of 1922 when neighbors noted the family's disappearance. The inquiry that followed yielded few leads, but the murder weapon, a mattock, was discovered buried in the house. Several suspects have emerged over the years, including Carl Gabriel, Victoria's husband, who was considered dead in World War I, but some believe he survived and returned for revenge. Lawrence Schlittenbauer, Josef's biological daughter, was among the first to arrive at the crime site and displayed suspicious behavior. Vagrant or an ex-convict may have found refuge in the attic and attacked upon discovery as well is also a theory. But, of course, despite any lengthy investigations, no one was ever arrested. The case was revived in 2007, but due to a paucity of surviving evidence, officials believe that the perpetrator can never be firmly identified. And that is the sad truth of that. But you know what? At the end of the day, no. The Hinterkaifeck murders are still one of Germany's greatest unsolved mysteries. The farm was dismantled in 1923, and a monument was erected nearby in commemoration of the deaths. Theories persist to this day with no conclusive answers as to who committed the heinous murders or why, and we'll never know. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a fire broke out at the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder fled with 4 of their 9 children, but their 5, Maurice, Martha, Louise, Jenny, and Betty, had never been seen again. Despite an extensive search, no human remains were discovered among the ashes. Prior to the fire, the Sodders noted a few peculiar incidents. A strange visitor had visited the residence a week before, threatening that it would fire owing to George Sodder's anti-Mussolini views. On the night of the incident, the family received an unusual phone call, and their Christmas lights remained turned on even as the fire progressed, contradicting the idea of an electrical failure. George's ladder, which he intended to use for rescue, was subsequently discovered stowed away from the home. Witnesses reported seeing the Sodder children alive in later years, including in a Charleston hotel with 2 identified males. In 1967, Jenny Sodder got a mysterious photograph of a young man who resembled one of her missing sons, Luis. The reverse of the photograph read, "Louis Sodder, I adore my brother Frankie. Little boys." Some experts claim the mafia kidnapped the children, maybe as revenge for George's political beliefs. The case still remains open. Despite decades of research, the truth of the Sodder children's fate is unknown. The family constructed a billboard along Route 16 to gather information, but no clear answers were forthcoming. The only surviving Sodder child continued to search until her death. The story is still one of America's most disturbing disappearances of all time.